Friday, 6 p.m. You close your laptop, you let out a big breath, and you're like, okay, I made it. Maybe you head to a bar. Maybe you grab a few beers and go home. Maybe your friends just come over and you all hang out and talk about nothing. Sounds pretty normal, right? But here's a fun thought: did people way back in ancient times do this too? Did they have their own version of Friday night? Or honestly, was it something way weirder? Because get this, there's an idea floating around that says humans didn't start farming just to make bread. We may have started farming to make beer. Yeah, for real. Let's get into it. Think about your week for a second. 5 days of work, stress, your boss, your phone buzzing nonstop. Then Friday hits and something just flips in your head, like, okay, time to let go. But here's the thing, we don't really go out because we love the taste of a drink. We go out because we want that feeling, being with people, laughing at some dumb joke, feeling close to your friends. The drink is kind of like a ticket into that feeling. It helps people loosen up and connect. Now let's rewind. Way back. Like 40,000 years back. No office, no boss, but there's a giant scary cat out there that might eat you for lunch. Ancient people didn't have a calendar, there was no such thing as Friday for them. But they did have something close to it, a good hunt. If they caught a big animal, that was a celebration. If they found some wild honey, same deal. And here's the wild part, scientists have actually found proof that people were making something like beer over 13,000 years ago. That's before farming even existed. So people hadn't even figured out how to grow wheat yet, but they had already figured out how to turn it into something fizzy and fun. Just picture some guy sitting by the fire thinking, okay, I can't bake bread yet, I haven't invented the wheel, I don't even have a shovel, but I did figure out how to make this grain mush turn into something amazing. Priorities, right? This leads into a bigger idea some scientists talk about. It's called beer before bread. The idea is, maybe people didn't start growing crops just to get food. Maybe they started growing crops to keep a steady supply of something fun to drink. There's a place called Gobekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey, one of the oldest religious sites ever found, and scientists found giant stone tubs there with leftover traces of something that shows up when grain ferments. So people were dragging around giant stones, building this huge temple, and inside they basically had an ancient party setup. Kind of crazy to think that maybe all of human history, cities, writing, big organized societies, all of that, grew out of people wanting one more round at a Stone Age get-together. So did ancient people have their own version of Friday? Kind of yes, kind of no. They didn't follow a weekly schedule because the whole idea of a week didn't even exist for them yet. But they did have their own reasons to celebrate: a good hunt, fruit finally getting ripe, a full moon, a new season starting. So instead of Friday every single week, it was more like, celebrate whenever you get lucky. Sometimes that meant once a month. Sometimes, if they lived near a bunch of berries that ferment on their own, it might have happened almost every day without them even trying. And funny enough, animals do this too. Some animals eat fermented fruit and end up stumbling around like they had way too much. So the very first tipsy stumble in history might not even belong to a person, it might belong to some animal out in the wild. Now here's the biggest difference, and honestly this is the whole point of this video. Today, we drink with friends because it's fun, just to relax and feel good. Ancient people drank with their group because it actually helped them survive. It wasn't just for fun, it held the group together. It calmed people down, it eased the tension, it built trust before the next hunt, where your life could literally depend on the guy standing next to you. Some scientists even have a name for this, kind of like a bonding theory. Basically, groups that celebrated together worked better as a team, and teams that worked well together survived longer. So check out this loop. Today, we go out to relax after getting through a hard week. Ancient people sat around the fire with a fermented drink to actually learn how to survive together, to make sure nobody got left behind on the hunt, to avoid fights over land, to make it through a rough winter as a group. For us, a drink is like a reward after surviving something. For them, it was part of how they survived in the first place. So next time your friend texts you, hey, let's grab a drink, we need this, just remember, you're not only going out to have fun. In a weird way, you're continuing something people have done for over 10,000 years, bonding with your group before facing whatever comes next. Except now the scary thing isn't some wild animal, it's Monday morning. And here's a funny way to end this. We usually think big human progress started with serious stuff, tools, farming, writing things down for taxes. But one of the very first big steps forward might have simply been people figuring out how to make something ferment, just so they could throw a good get-together. Bread, writing, maybe even whole communities, might have all just been a side effect of someone really wanting a reason to celebrate on a regular basis. If this idea kind of blew your mind a little, tap that like button, it really helps this video reach more people. Subscribe so you don't miss the next story about weird stuff from our past. And drop a comment. Do you think beer came before bread, or do you think people were really just after a good bowl of porridge? See you in the next one.